Yeah, so a great opportunity for reinvention, both for tennis as a sport, and then a great opportunity for some of the names that you've already mentioned, the up and coming. And when we think of business, I always say that when we lose our relevance, that's typically when we actually end up not being in business any longer. So, do you see some parallels between the opportunity and the landscape of tennis right now and our challenge as business owners to reinvent and to be relevant and to be able to evolve ourselves so that we're giving people that which they are looking from us for?
100%. The world is changing constantly. Nothing is stable. So we have to reinvent ourselves all the time. It's true for a tennis player. And I always say that as a professional tennis player, if you don't move forward, you move backward. The stationary doesn't exist because otherwise everybody else is progressing. So, it's the same in business, of course. And it's even more in business because the way people consume is moving. A lot of things are moving all the time. And in tennis, and that's why I like the parallel, I think, and in sports in general, in the sport business, things are really moving. The last 10, 15 years, a lot of new medias have come up. The social medias, the streaming platforms, the esports, the video games, the offer for the people in terms of consumption is huge. There are so many options every second. You have 10 minutes in front of you, you have nothing to do. There are so many options. This is one thing. And this has transformed completely the way people consume. Before, in the 80s, sorry, I'm old enough to talk about it. In the 80s, in the 70s, even more, there was like 3 tennis channels and that's it. So like it was easy in a way. All the sports formats are old. They're old formats. Tennis format from the before 1900. So imagine. But all they all have been created at a time where the way people were consuming was completely different. So they kind of have to readapt to today. Today, there are a certain number of rules, whatever product you propose, whether it's series or anything, there are a certain number of rules that you have to respect. The formats have to be short, they have to be dynamic. People are losing attention very fast because there is so many options, etc. I'm not going to name all of them, but just to say that those sports have to reinvent themselves, otherwise they're going to die. And if you look at tennis, the average age of the tennis fan is over 60 years old. Wow. Why? Because the tennis fans are, the fan base has been created in the 70s and the 80s, and the fans are still the same people, but tennis is not recruiting new fans, younger fans, because the tennis product that you see on TV, and you see matches of the famous Sinner Alcaraz lasted 5 hours. Who's sitting and watching a 5 hours anything today? Nobody. So it's just an example. So tennis needs to reinvent itself to be able to be relevant in today's world, but it's true for all the sports formats. So people have to think how to be relevant in today's world. So I think it applies completely to the business.